Hey folks, JD here, and today we've got the very fun task of flying our first quadcopter that we've built. So if you haven't already seen it, we've got 3 videos on the feed which detail how to build this particular quadcopter, which was actually part of a Christmas advent calendar, and thought it would be quite a fun project for us to go through with the run up to Christmas. So now obviously we finished it, we've built it, so now we're going to see whether it's going to fly, because to be honest with you, the building part was the most fun part up to this point. So let's knock her on, let's put her down, and then bind to the quadcopter the normal way. Then once you'll see the flashing lights have stopped and now they're solid. So I don't know how this is going to fly. I'm really looking forward to it. So let's give it a shot. No way. Honestly didn't expect that. Oh. I am absolutely astounded that this flew. Did not expect it to fly. Oh, a bit of a wobble there. I think the whole reason I didn't expect it to fly was because it was so cheap. I think it was about £30 in a calendar. Obviously, you know, a bit of a gimmick, but I thought it would be quite a fun thing to do. And turns out I wasn't wrong. It actually was a real fun thing to do. So there we go. Look at this. Oh, she is pulling slightly, but that could be down to the 1 mile an hour wind that we have here today. Oh, okay, so she is. There was a little bit of a wobble there. So I tell you what, let's take her back up. Oh no, looks like she is a little bit out of sync. So let's try. Okay, so let's try a little bit of trim. So she's flying. Oh, okay, slow and steady wins the race. So I think I was taken off a little bit too quick for it. So there we go. Get her up to halfway point straight away, and she's happy. Oh. Oh, no, not very happy. Yeah, I think that might be the battery. I mean, she was on charge for over an hour. It does have a rated fly time of 8 to 10 minutes, but she isn't enjoying life. So let's give her a bit of forward trim as she's going back. No, that hasn't done absolutely anything. Okay, let's turn off the quad. How hot are these motors? Because one thing I did notice in the build and in the test afterwards, then the motors were getting quite warm. In fact, what I did find as well is that these blades, these propellers, were actually very stiff to begin with. So let's just cut to a little video so I can show you exactly what I did to loosen those up. Okay, so one thing I noticed is once we put everything together, I then spent a little bit of time and I just went through to ensure that when we were going to start up this quadcopter for the first time, that these motors weren't going to stick. Because the very worst thing you could actually have happen is these propellers to stick. You throttle up gently just to watch how they spin and if they're all steady, and then the motor blows. So you don't want that. So what I did is I noticed that this propeller here was sticking. So I removed it, and if I can show you, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but inside there where we attach the small cog to the motor, and you've got the larger cog then which spins the propeller, what I noticed was that some of them weren't actually meeting properly. So I pushed them all in, and just to ensure, but this one's still stuck a little bit as well. So in between these little 2 cogs, what I did, it was something that was, it's actually, I very much doubt the manufacturer would recommend it, but I just put a tiniest drop of WD-40 just on there, and then with that I then went about spinning this motor arm for a good 5 minutes each propeller. And then what I found is when I then married up the propeller and attached it again, I actually found that the next time that I powered her up, all 4 propellers spun, and all 4 propellers spun properly, and they were all in sync. And even on this little test mat, the quadcopter started to lift. So I would just recommend using an ever so slight amount, not a lot at all, but an ever so slight amount of WD-40 or some sort of spray oil, but the slightest drop just in between those two cogs, because what you may find is that the smaller cog and the larger cog, as they've been moulded on the plastic, maybe the plastic isn't 100% smooth. So with that little bit of oil in there as well, you'll find that the cogs start to move, they won't slip, and the propellers will start to work without any issue. Okay, so doing that certainly did help. So let's knock it back on now. Be careful to look directly at that white LED at the front, as it is very bright. Okay, bind to the quadcopter. So now that we've bound, we should be good to take off. Yeah, I think it might just be a motor overheating, because once she's up in the air, she's quite happy. No, she's still struggling to get anywhere. It looks as if the motors are slightly unbalanced, so I might have to address that at a later date. But to begin with, the fact that we just built this from an advent calendar, and now we're able to fly it, I think that in itself is good enough for me anyway, folks. I think we had a lot of fun doing it. I know I certainly did. I hope all you guys did also. So there we go. Not really much of a review as such, but just a little gentle flight to see how she'd perform. But if you have got one of these, or if you're able to pick up one of these after Christmas in the Christmas sales, I definitely would advise you to do so. The videos are all there, 3 of them, that'll show you exactly how to put it together. So yeah, there we go. That was actually quite fun. I quite enjoyed that. So there we are, folks. Thanks ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD. You've been fantastic as always. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, just to stay up to date with all the videos that are going up. 3 videos a week, one on a Monday, one on a Wednesday, and one on a Saturday. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.